And welcome back to the show. Spaces is a company that's actually transforming how drivers consume parking and the way technology actually partners with the industry by connecting the physical and digital environment through the latest in contactless parking solutions. What exactly does all this mean? Well, we're pleased to be joined by Executive Chairman of Spaces, Jerry Skillett, and Jerry shares with us. And Jerry, I guess if you're an employer, this is one way that you can kind of get your employees back into the workplace.
Well, absolutely. What we did is we made parking access and parking just so much easier by using your mobile device. And actually, you don't even have to download an app because we use the actual mobile phone aspect of it. But what's so great for employers is that we set up this program called Hybrid Park, so that employees that don't come in every single day have the ability to access their parking facilities on a daily basis, pay a special rate, but have in and out privileges during that day. So we find, Darren, that with the new schedules, people have to go, they're picking up their children, they're coming in at different hours. There's, these hybrid schedules. And so it's really changed a lot. There's not everyone's coming to the office every day anymore. So we really help facilitate that.
Yeah. Do you see this as a permanent fix or a fix?
Well, it's, I've traveled, we're in 23 cities across the country. And I talked to the CEOs of some of the most major tenants and real estate companies in the United States. The hybrid schedule is permanent. I do believe that what you're going to see is that where the schedules today may be 2 or 3 days in the office, it'll probably be 3 or 4 in the future. But I think that the days of 5 days in the office from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in most companies, we won't see that again.
Yeah, it's amazing how things just change in a matter of time. But we've actually moved into a new dimension. As as many people say, a new era. But I know for myself, if I'm going to a mall, if I'm going even to an office building for a meeting, some of the biggest frustration is really just standing there waiting and dealing with how to deal with parking and things of that nature. And I know that, that's your job. You kind of like mitigated some of that. So talk to us about a little bit of the response that you've received since being able to take this on.
Well, it's been amazing. I think the differentiator was in parking, it's very difficult in a gated parking facility specifically to create something that you have to download an app. So we're appless, you're native on every phone. When you come up to the gate, there's an actual specific phone number you dial to access the parking facility. It's automatic. There is a text message that comes back to set up your payment platform. You do that one time. And when you go to the exit, you dial out. It's very efficient. It's obviously contactless. And you do it from inside the car. You don't wait in line at a pay station. You don't dip your credit card at the exit or anything like that. So the efficiency of it is amazing. We have over 17,000 customers a day that use the system. And, it's exponentially growing across the country. And so we believe clearly that this is the way that people will access parking across the United States in the future. We believe 90% of the facilities will have this in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Were you inspired by this through COVID, or was this pre-COVID? You already had the mindset that this is the way that you want to go?
Well, it was pre-COVID when we started experimentation with this. I've been a leader in the industry for 40 years. I've owned most of the major parking companies in the United States. And so as an operational expert in the business, I found it very frustrating we created a very difficult process, and you just mentioned it, to enter, park, pay, exit. You almost have to be a PhD to figure it all out. And why not simplify it? We simplified it when COVID hit, then people, the people were very interested in it primarily from the contactless basis. All of a sudden, all of us started really thinking a little bit more about, we don't like touching things. So we had already done it prior to that, but in a weird way, Daren, COVID accelerated our adoption. And like all of us, and even myself, when I go to Starbucks, when I go to Whole Foods, when I go to stores now, I almost always pay contactless. And I never did that before. And so once you do it, that's the preferred way. And parking is the same. It's just so much easier.
I'll ask you the question, like, what response have you been getting? I mean, obviously for me, I'm a no-brainer. Look, I want that. That's exactly what I want, simply for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're in COVID. Number two, beyond COVID, I already had a frustration prior to this. So, I mean, for me, I know it's a no-brainer, but what response have you been getting from people?
Well, look, we with 17,000 customers a day, we hear a lot, but I want to tell you about our very first facility. Was Salesforce Tower in Indianapolis. And it was a very unusual location because it had Salesforce employees, which are all young. And then there's a doctor's office and attorney's office there that primarily have seniors. So you have to use our system in that garage. There's no other way to get customers. Was a woman who was 77 years old. And she called us after using it, and she said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I never could reach the ticket dispenser from inside the car. I never could, all of the things that we know are difficult. And she said, now I actually can do this, right? So it's simple. And you and I and everybody, we know how to dial a number on our phone. We learned when we were 7 years old. So it's very intuitive from that standpoint.
So where do you go from here? Obviously, I know you're growing, you're expanding by the day. What are the future plans?
Well, our future plans really, again, unexpected. This was a gift from God, actually. The cell phone is the same in every country in the world. Parking gates and access is the same everywhere in the world. And so we've made trips to Europe. We've made trips to South America. We've made trips to Asia. People, parking companies and garage owners around the world want to adopt this. And so that's our next frontier. Any place that there's a parking facility with a gate, we want spaces.
Well, we're going to leave it there. Jerry, thank you so much. And it's really exciting to hear. I think a lot of people will be able to benefit from it. I know personally, myself, that's my mode de operandi. I like it like that. So thank you so much for being with us, and glad to talk to you.
Great. Thank you, Daren.
All right. Now, listen, if you want more information, what I want you to do is visit the website, spacesusa.com, or on their social media platform at spacesusa. And we encourage you, please don't go anywhere. We still have more open coming up right after this.